Ladies and gentlemen, Kirk Thatcher and Daren Doctorman, the Weirded Beardos. And it's us. Well, we're here again.
No idea this was going to happen. I'm completely surprised. You caught me doing very important. Is anyone buying this, do you think?
No, not at all.
No, knock it off then.
We're lucky if they're watching.
Or listening.
Or mostly watching. I want people to watch us.
Yeah, that's why.
And know that it is okay. That's not
No?
That's not what we want.
Well, I figured we'd get more viewers if they know that there's nudity.
Nudity?
Nudity.
This week, full frontal nudity.
As opposed to full dorsal nudity.
That's right. Yeah.
Tonight, just butts.
Butts and backs.
You know what? You could probably make a decent living with a podcast, a video cast called Butts and Backs.
That's a good character name. Butts and Butson BAX. Butts and Backs.
Butts and Baxter. Or Baxter Butson. It just writes itself. How are you?
I'm doing okay. How are you, Kirk? We're in when we're recording this, we're in another month now.
Yes, we have traversed almost a full year.
Nearly
a full yearly. By the time people are hearing this, we'll be in the first airs. I never know how calendrical we should be, because I don't know if it makes it this is 3 months old, or if anyone cares.
Yeah.
Most stuff we talk about isn't particularly tied to a year. The holidays I think we can talk about, like Halloween.
Right. Most of the time our shows are what they say evergreen.
Yeah. Well, we can again talk about Halloween or Christmas, I think, because everyone experiences them once a year if you don't die.
Well, that's
Halloween in the afterlife.
I think if they do, then it would be a bit of a letdown, wouldn't you say?
Not for me. I would think it would be great if it's all kind of spooky and fun. Or Christmas, or maybe it just rotates between Halloween and Christmas. That's what heaven is like. Halloween and Christmas. Let's all wear a hat.
There was a Python. Was it a Python song, "Christmas in Heaven"?
Yeah, I think that was on one of the contractual obligation album or something.
Or was it in Meaning of Life?
Meaning of Life sounds right. That does sound correct.
Meaning of Life is the only movie that I don't really like.
I was talking with a friend. Do you know Bill Prady?
I know of him. I've never met him.
Oh, okay. I met him a billion years ago. We both worked at the Muppets in the 80s, and he was already there when I started. Anyway, I saw him at a Halloween party last week, and he said he wanted to do a podcast with only white men, or he didn't say white men, only men over 57 plus, and you can't use your phone. You can't use Google to look things up. I said, "Oh God!" I said that.
Well, that's basically our podcast.
Well, I was gonna say that's pretty much us, except we don't. Yeah, we typically.
Did you tell him about our podcast? No,
I did, but
Did you? But he didn't listen.
I didn't put it up to his ear and go, "Here, listen."
Hey, look at this.
I told him we had a podcast, and he was quite nonplussed. Again,
and he didn't believe you. Why didn't he believe you?
But I wanted to talk about Halloween and why.
Yeah, what did you do?
Well, first of all, I want to talk about in the big picture. I went to some parties. No big surprise. I went to Universal here in Los Angeles. Universal Studios has a big Halloween thing, Halloween Horror Nights, and I went a couple of years ago and was disappointed. I thought they're trying to do volume. They have 8 to 12 different haunts, but they're all kind of thrown together. There's a couple that they're spending the money on, but the place is packed. There are people, if you don't get a VIP ticket, which is something close to a few $100s a person, you'll wait in 3-hour lines for a 3-minute walkthrough. It makes absolutely no sense to me. Again, but I'm in my dotage. But if they were amazing, I'd be all right. I could see, but they're not. There's, I would say 20% of it was like, oh, that was pretty cool, maybe 25, but I would say most of it was like, and again, coming from the world that we do and we make this stuff and design this stuff, and maybe I'm just I'm too jaded to be like impressed, and I've never done Knott's Berry Farm or Knott's Scary Farm, but those are kind of the two big haunts here in LA. But I have friends all over the country, and there's like in the Midwest, like in Kansas and Oklahoma, there's some huge haunts that they go all out. Like I think more than even Universal or Knott's does. I mean, Disney does a nice family kind of thing. I don't like Nightmare Before Christmas over the Haunted Mansion. I think the Haunted Mansion should be the Haunted Mansion until November 1st, and then they should change it over. But one thing that's interesting to me is like most artists I know love Halloween. And I don't because
we talked about this last week or the week before.
But I mean, is it because I assume it's because it's the creative holiday? You make a costume, you design a thing, you decorate your house. I think probably close second would be Christmas, but
maybe it's because most creative people hate being themselves.
That's an interesting. Well, then, yeah. Trapped in our own brains. I don't know. My brain doesn't bother me much. Obviously, it's my physiognomy. I wish I could change. But hey, what's her name? Cindy Crawford did the Muppets, and she was in hair and makeup for 5 hours.
Wow.
Because, she thinks, most women of that ilk who are models and all that like think they're hideous freaks. Which is why, sadly, there's bulimia and anorexia and all that. But I've just kind of look in the mirror and go, I mean, aging is a part of it. You just like, Jesus, what's happening? Anyway, Halloween. I went to a couple parties. I went as the dude, which is the easiest thing for me. I put on sunglasses and the dude sweater, and
which the other 364 days out of the year, you are also the dude.
I'm also the dude. Yeah, I just don't wear the sweater. I pretty much dress like he does. I wear V-neck t-shirts and baggy shorts and sandals. So
like that's just your opinion, man.
Yeah, man. This aggression will not stand, man. Walter. And then I was a wizard. We had my show debuted, the Maxim we talked about, and there was a costume thing that was encouraged to come in some sort of medieval thing. So I went as a wizard, I put on a robe and a wizard's hat, and bang, 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 boom, I'm a wizard. So I didn't go all out this year, just because I was working and didn't have it used to really thrill me to make up clever, fun Halloween makeups or costumes. And I went to on Halloween night, I went to a party in Toluca Lake, which is one of the neighborhoods in Los Angeles where people bus in. They just come in from everywhere.
Yeah.
Probably 8,000 kids and families there over the course of about 4 hours. And Rick Baker has his house in that neighborhood. Yeah. And he always does an amazing show.
He does. He did something amazing this year.
Yeah, the Planet of the Apes. And beneath the Planet of the Apes, he had Urko, or a gorilla soldier.
Right.
He had Syra. He had Cornelius, and he was Zeus. And then he had 3 mutants from beneath the Planet of the Apes.
3 mutants.
What's that?
3 mutants.
Well, his wife was one, but she didn't pull her face off. But there were 2 others who pulled their faces off and had these really great, more horrific versions of the mutant, skinless mutations from that movie. And he'd set up like a cage, very similar to like kind of, I think the conceit was that we were the humans in the cage and they were the apes looking at us.
Right.
Which was great. And they were all just latex masks, but like they weren't talking or anything, but it looked amazing. His daughter was a Zyra.
Zira. There's no Zyra. Zyra is one of the planets in When Worlds Collide.
All right, nerd.
Yeah, that's right.
No, I thought Marty McDowell called her Zyra.
Never. Zira.
All right, fine.
Cornelius, Zira.
Yeah, well, he was
Zeus.
Zeus. Anyway, it was great. It looked amazing. You don't even have to look for his house anymore. Just look where there's like 1,000 people trying to see it and walk through, and everyone's with their phones up. So, and if you follow Rick Baker, which you should on Instagram, you see.
I do.
I mean, to our listeners and viewers,
I don't care about
always.
Viewers.
You don't? Wow. And you
Yes,
wonder,
I do.
wow.
Yeah, what a jerk.
Wow. Do you think they're garbage?
I know they are.
Wow. And
No,
Daren
that's
is
great
probably,
because we are too.
no, I don't admit to garbage. I'll eat garbage, but I'm
I've
not.
never seen garbage eat garbage before. Where's that quote from?
I have no idea.
That's from Superman 2.
I didn't really enjoy the second Super. I liked the first one, and then I kind of didn't really watch the other ones. So yeah, I'm an iconoclast. I'm a see.
I
We're a fancy hat, so
yeah, it's jaunty.
I have the jaunt cranked to 11.
You've got
Um,
you've got jauntus.
nice. Well
I
played.
I want to try one of our new functions on here, uh,
Okay.
and show a photo of my Halloween costume.
Oh, excellent.
There's
Oh,
me as one of the number twos from The Prisoner.
down to the
Funny,
shoes.
funny, laughing, huh?
The shoes, are they number twos?
They are, yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, that's typecasting.
yeah, thanks.
Um, it's been so long since I've seen it, I couldn't tell if you were accurate or not. I literally, but you weren't in black and white. So first of all, there was that.
What? The Prisoner was not in black and white.
It wasn't.
No.
I think I watched it on a black and white TV. That's how long ago it was. I don't. Maybe it was in color. I just never saw it in color. I saw it in black and white.
Very interesting.
Fascinating.
Well, not that interesting.
Number 2.
You're the new number
That's
2.
cool. You're the new number 2. Patrick McGowan.
Patrick McGowan, and yeah.
Were there any other big names from it? Or I know they guest starred or something.
No, but one of the producers of it was David Tomlin, who was first AD on Indy and the Star Wars movies.
I worked with David. He shot all the Ewok gags on Jedi. He's a big guy. David Tomlin impression is like this. He's a big.
Okay, turn over.
Nobody hand him was much more like, all right, everyone, let's get ready. He had this big, deep, gravelly voice. And
here's a picture of number 2.
Oh, that's
yes,
it is. Hold on.
Uh-huh.
He played Rumpole of the Bailey.
Yes, correct.
His name.
Uh-huh.
Hold on a second. Because he always reminds me of Michael Gambon. He's like the earlier Michael Gambon.
Yes.
Oh, Christ.
He was the pre-Gambon.
Yeah, but he had Leo McKern.
Yes, correct. Very good.
He had that kind of voice, too, like Michael Gambon.
That kind of, yeah.
It almost looked like they were related. He had the big drunkard.
Well, the big drunky nose. Yeah.
Yeah, we are in that kind of back on the voice, back in the throat kind of voice. Leo McKern, Rumpole of the Bailey, which made me laugh as a kid. Rumpole.
Because it's funny. He's a rumphole.
He's a rumpole.
You rumphole.
Jesus. So anyway, what were we talking about?
We were talking about you were the dude, and
you
went to parties, and Rick Baker and his Planet of the Apes pageant.
That's one thing that's nice, and I've enjoyed since I was a kid. People who go all out for their front yard haunts, whether it's a little display or it's a whole show. The most amazing show. I mean, Rick always has great makeups and design, but there's a place in Woodland Hills called the House on Haunted Hill.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. They didn't do it this year. You'd have to go to their website. But the guy whose house it's at, he literally turns his whole house and the yard next to his house into like a Disneyland ride. He has projections and light and audio effects. It turns out he does stage shows for rock bands. He has all the rigging and equipment and lighting and projectors and all that and sound. So he uses that to do this amazing haunt. And it's like a good 7-minute show, 8-minute show. And you walk along the street. It kind of leads you from one end to the other. And there's a whole narration. I met the guy, his last name is Valentine, who wrote it. Neil Patrick Harris is in it as a ghost. There's a whole story, and it's based in a Hollywood tale of an actress and her boyfriend and who killed who and all that. It's really great. So look it up on your Funkin' Wagnalls. Look it up on the Google. And House on Haunted Hill. Again, they do have a website. If you do House on Haunted Hill, Woodland Hills, it'll show up.
Well, legendarily in Southern California, in the small town of Burbank, Bob Burns, who used to put on these tremendous Halloween shows, and all his friends who were Rick Baker and Dennis Murin and Dorothy Fontana and the Skotax all worked on these shows for years.
Mike Miner was a big part of it. Yeah, and that was the first one I'd ever witnessed, even before I knew Bob. And like he was, I mean, still, it's up there with House on Hill. House on Hill is more of a like a show, like you just kind of walk down the street and watch it. Where Bob's was,
it's an exhibition. His was an actual scripted show that live actors. I read about them in Starlog magazine. And because I never got out here till 1985, by the time I got out here, he had stopped doing them. However, back in the late 90s, I believe that was, or maybe it was the early aughts, he did one last show.
Right, everyone got back together.
Everyone got the band back together, and he did a production of The Thing.
Right.
From Another World, the original black and white. His was in color, though. But I got to work on it. I got to hang out with Pat McClung and Dorothy Fontana and the Skos and build stuff and help with the production, and it was so great. And
I missed it. I was very upset. I didn't know about it for whatever reason. I might not have been living in LA, or I might have been on a job. But yeah, I did not participate or even.
It was a lot of fun. That he had two people doing the main lead in it. I forget the first guy, but our friend Danny Roebuck did the other one, and it was fantastic. And there was custom composed music for it, and it was a big deal.
And Dan Roebuck is a monster movie kid who also played Grandpa Munster.
In the latest version of the Munsters. Yeah. We're supposed to have him on soon, so keep an eye out.
Keep your ears peeled,
because he's definitely always been a weirded beardo.
Yes, even when he didn't have a beard. Yeah, he has one of those amazing careers where, like, he's been in all sorts of things.
Yeah.
But he's there was a documentary called I Know the Face.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And he's one of those guys, like, people recognize him, but they're like, what? Why do I know you? And since he was, like, in his 20s, like, he's just...
he's been a very successful character actor. And, he was in Lost. He got blown up in Lost, and he was in Matlock. And,
that was one of his bigger roles. Was like his regular. He's like the John Schuck of our generation.
I don't know about that. I mean,
John was in a lot of things too, and had a couple series where he was. I mean, Danny might have been more. I don't know how you measure success, but you know what I mean. Like, people recognize John, and they're like, "Oh, that guy! You're that guy from The Thing."
John Schuck is just an intellectual puppet.
Yes, well, the Klingon ambassador in Star Trek 4, but also he played Herman Munster in one of the reboots.
Yeah, so it always leads to the Munsters.
It always leads to the Munsters. If I don't play Grandpa Munster anytime soon, I'm going to be very disappointed.
Well,
speaking of which, and we should have him on as a guest. I did a convention in Hannibal, Missouri.
Yeah.
The other guest was a guy named Glenn Toronto. And it sounds like Toronto, but it's Tarnto. And Glenn with two N's. He played Gomez Addams in the reboot of The Addams Family.
Ah.
He looks like a slightly huskier, and not fat, but just like a thicker John Astin. And he nails the voice and the attitude. He's great and a lovely guy.
Oh,
and
that's cool.
he basically could be the third Beardo. He knows as much about old movies and character actors as you do, and you, I consider one of the most knowledgeable in that stuff. And he was doing movie dialogue and riffs. I mean, he's going to be a great guest, and we're probably going to want him back semi-regularly because he really is the same cloth as we are, and does voices and knows.
Oh, that sounds great.
Yeah, he's also known, if you're a video game player, which I'm not so much of, but I knew about this game Mafia, which is a huge video game.
Right.
He plays like the Mafia Don in it. He's the voice of it. And they mocapped him. So it was done more recently where they mocapped and it looks like him. So he's famous in a video game and and he's done a bunch of other stuff, but those two are kind of what
I have to say. The report from Halloween night, on the kids wearing costumes. Star Wars is dead. Okay. There was maybe a Mandalorian. That was it. One out of, we had hundreds of kids coming to my friend's house whenever we gave out candy. Right. But Wednesday Addams, huge. And the Addams Family itself is still huge. So that's amazing. Yeah.
So I handed out candy at my friends in Toluca Lake, but they come so fast and furious.
There were no Fast and Furious.
But the kids, I mean, it's just mobs. So, and a lot of them are so little, they're just kind of dressed up in something adorable.
Yeah, well, obviously, a lot of this is the parents dressing them up and making the decisions for them.
But I didn't notice, it's not like, where you really notice that stuff is like San Diego Comic-Con, where there's, 5,000 Harley Quinns, or Wednesday Addams recently. There were a lot of Wednesdays. That's where I noticed, like, okay, the trend this year is fill in the blank. I don't know for guys or for boys what the... I mean, there's always some Ninja Turtles, Power Rangers.
Yeah, there's a lot of Ninja Turtles. There's a lot of Marios.
Yeah, Mario and Luigi. I saw a lot of moms and dads as Peach and Mario or Luigi, and then the kids as Mario or Toad or whatever. That actually was a lot of that, which is surprising to me. That game's been around for so long. Spider-Man's always a standard.
Yeah, yep. We had one kid dressed in the Karate Kid shower costume.
Wow, that's a deep cut.
It was great.
I don't think I would have even, spotted that or known what it was. What about the party that you were at? Were any great costumes and adults? Anyone doing?
Not especially. I mean, we had one couple came as Duke Leto and his royal concubine, and she was all dressed up from the Villeneuve film with the chainmail and the gorgeous costume, and he had the full dress uniform, and it was amazing.
Wow. I'm trying to think. There was a great version of, the hostess looked like, she said she wasn't exactly being Maleficent from the movies, but just her sexy, all in black with black wings and kind of horn. She looked great. There was a gal, a friend of mine's wife, came as Marilyn Monroe, and she looked like Marilyn Monroe. She was a little thinner, but was a great Marilyn Monroe. I mean, immediately, there's Indiana Jones, of course. There's always a guy with a fedora. Our buddy Frank Dietz always goes as Indiana Jones because he pulls it off.
My friend Steve Melching, his favorite costume to wear on Halloween is Indiana Jones, and he has screen accurate versions of everything. He has this great whip that out in the front lawn when the kids are passing by, he does the whip cracks and scares the shit out of them.
Takes their eyes out. It's great.
He doesn't hurt them. No one gets hurt. But it's an exciting Halloween moment.
Yeah, the one thing too, what's interesting in LA every year is it doesn't feel like Halloween weather-wise. It was tonight. Actually, the few days after Halloween, it started to feel more autumnal, but it was nice. It wasn't 98 degrees out, thank God. But it wasn't crisp with the leaves are falling. But yeah, it's weird. I remember as a kid, we had a big maple tree, and the leaves would be falling in early October and crunching. And the air was, and the air was crisp and
my window.
all right. But yeah, it doesn't feel like
growing up in Chicago, we of course had that crisp weather and with the leaves and everything, but you could also smell the leaves burning. The having bonfires and stuff, and that was just so
you can smell leaves burning. Usually the couple weeks before.
You smell burnt toast. Yeah.
Yeah, the hills are on fire. Or it's just
the sound of music.
Yeah. So I don't know. I Halloween still. It's funny, as you get older, you just like spend less and less time.
That's what that hat reminds me of. You look like Georg von Trapp.
Oh, it is very. I love that it has this curve on it. That's
no, it's nice.
I try and get fedoras or any hat, but to have that.
The family von Trapp.
Yes. I don't think it's a Homburg. I think it's a little short in the crown.
Yeah, no, it's still a fedora.
I do have a Homburg. I think we talked about it. It was my grandpa.
I had a hot dog the other day.
Hey, no, I had a Homburg. Hey, I'll tell you. All right, we've talked enough about Halloween. Now let's talk about Father's.
Have we? Well, the thing that happens after Halloween, of course, is we go into the big holiday vortex.
Yes. Well, I consider, Halloween is the beginning of that.
Yeah. And if you hear Christmas music in stores before Halloween is over, then they're doing something wrong. Afterwards, it's okay.
Literally yesterday, one day after Halloween, the 2nd, my local hardware store, a DIY store that used to be in Osh, filled with Christmas lights and Christmas trees. There's one Tombstone and one Grim Reaper that's like 60% off.
Yeah, right.
It's funny. There's like a Tombstone, a Grim Reaper going, I will take it, whatever he's saying. And then like the whole center of the store is filled with lit up Christmas trees. I think this year I want to do Christmas. I haven't decorated for Halloween or even Thanksgiving or fall in years, but I'm really feeling like, I don't know if it's the election or just the state of the industry. I need a little Christmas right this very minute.
Candles in the window and we need a little Christmas.
Yeah. That's from Mame.
Yeah.
Which is weird because you don't think of it as a Christmas movie or even.
No, it's because it's not.
It's not, but they have that great Christmas song. Or I don't know if you think it's great, but I liked it. Yeah, the holiday vortex. I think I'm going to be out of town for Thanksgiving and Christmas to go see friends.
Really?
Well, I haven't been able to see friends. Well, my parents have gone, and my brother has his whole family, and sometimes I go hang out with them, and sometimes I just want to not be at home. Maybe because
it's a shame you're not around for Thanksgiving, because I was going to invite you to come to Cafe 50s in Santa Monica for Thanksgiving dinner.
A great tradition that should be kept. No, I think I'm going to go out of town and see friends who I don't see often because.
Fine, go that way.
Fine. But yeah, it's kind of a new thing. I booked a restaurant that does a really nice Thanksgiving meal, a sumptuous Chinese meal, a succulent Chinese meal. Have you seen that video of the Australian guy who's oh my God,
I have not.
Okay, you after the show, or even maybe during it, if you could show it. It's a guy who was mistakenly arrested in a Chinese restaurant in Australia, I think like 20 years ago. And and there's TV cameras there. And he talks like this. Excuse me, what are the charges, sir? What are the charges? And they're, there's like 4 officers dragging him out. And he's obviously a little drunk and incredibly belligerent. And he's like, you get your hand off my penis. And
what?
And then
it's you, isn't it?
What's that?
It's you, isn't it?
No. It's been around. It's been around for a while, but it gained resurgence in the last year or two. He just passed away this last year. Matt Berry is a big fan of it, and it's almost like a Matt Berry kind of character. Well, the way he talks, and so then he goes, "What are the charges? What are the charges? Enjoying a succulent Chinese meal?"
Oh my God!
And so if you just Google "succulent Chinese meal" video, it will show up, and this guy is just hilarious, and he's a real character. So it's a challenge now to put succulent Chinese meal into every movie I write.
I'm searching for it right now.
Oh, it'll show up, but you don't have to look far.
Charles Doza.
That's
Eating
it,
a meal, a succulent Chinese meal.
Chinese meal, yes. Matt Berry, I think, said he in an interview he got to squeeze it into.
Let's see if we can do this.
All right, it's a little R-rated because he does.
Well, you know.
I know. I just letting you know if you have kids watching or listening.
We don't have kids watching.
How dare you? I also, I look like a Tyrolean hat salesman. Yeah, I have nice hats for you, Herr Schmidt. Oh, I see Schmidt has no hair.
Let's see if we can do this. Let me.
If not,
share the screen.
I tell you all to look this up. It is real life comedy where this is not a staged event.
Yes. Why are there so many windows?
Why are there so many
doors?
Why are there so many songs about rainbows?
And what's on the other side?
Are there? I can only think of like 3, and one of them is Rainbow Connection. So I can only think of 2 other rainbow songs.
There aren't any other rainbow songs.
Well,
there's somewhere over the rainbow.
Right. But he says, why are there so many songs about rainbows? I couldn't think of it.
Well, he's lying. He's lying in song.
Kermit is a liar.
Kermit is a freaking liar.
He is a Greek harp. Don't worry about it. All right, well, look him up. Just
okay.
You guys, you will enjoy 2.5 minutes of real life comedy that just is eminently rewatchable.
Yeah. You could watch it many times.
It's a delicious Chinese meal.
Delicious.
That'd actually be funny. That would be a perfect use of it, just like an Easter egg.
I was just enjoying it. Yeah.
All right. So
you've heard that clip that the Warner Brothers Animation did of it was probably Mel Blanc doing off color stuff.
Yes.
But he has Porky saying son of bet you thought I would say son of a bitch, didn't you?
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
Yeah.
Find it.
That's like a Dr. Demento kind of, or remember those LPs that came out in the 70s, like bloopers and blunders, or
yeah.
Like, it was like more Orson Welles doing the.
Well, that's where we got the Orson Welles. That's where we got the Shatner clips. That's where we got Buddy Rich.
Right? Yeah, you blowing clams. John Wayne. For God, they're goddamn ridiculous.
I didn't say that for clapping.
For clapping. You guys, yeah. I remember the logo.
You guys are goddamn ridiculous.
Goddamn ridiculous. It was an old radio mic with its hand over its face, looking at the logo. But that was an LP, like a two record set, I think, at one point.
Yep.
But and Dr.
And Casey Kasem.
Casey Kasem, America's Top 40.
I'm not coming out of an up-tempo piece and talk about someone's dog dying.
Yeah.
I love those.
No, those are
They're
great.
So much fun.
Well, it also kind of points out the humanity of the people who are always so perfectly polished on camera and on radio.
But it shows you how tough these jobs are that we think are so easy.
Yeah, you guys think this is easy? Sitting here talking to my friend on Zoom in the comfort of my own.
I wasn't talking about our job.
Well, come on, let's get some sympathy. I mean, let's
sympathy.
Please send your dollars. Anyway, so check that out. Okay, so Halloween, we covered that mostly. I don't know. I could talk about Halloween forever. There's a great store.
I'm putting up our email right now on the screen so that they can contact us.
Actually, I'd be curious there's a great Halloween store in LA called the Halloween Store, which came about like in the last 10, 12 years. And it's year round. It's got costumes and all sorts of Halloween fun stuff. And, There's a few stores like that around Magnolia Boulevard in the Valley.
Yeah.
In Burbank. But I wonder if other towns have that, or is it just very much LA? I mean, there's places like up in kind of Victorian curio shops or Victorian cabinet shops with taxidermy skulls.
Places that are actually haunted.
Well, no, but they sell more of that, ephemera of Victorian curio cabinets, which is usually preserved animals, whether it's taxidermy or in a jar or freeze dried or just the skeletons. But which I've always enjoyed. There was one in New York called, was it like Evolution, or was great. They had like a full ostrich skeleton, and you get ostrich eggs and preserved, hellbenders in jars, and I don't know what you call that kind of shop. They're New York, LA has
a curiosity shop.
It kind of is, but it's very kind of gothic because it's all mainly around ephemera of nature, typically preserved or stripped to the bone.
It's like in some movie, someone had All Things Dead, which was a taxidermy shop.
Right, which is a great name. I just found out a friend of mine. She's been taking taxidermy classes for 3 years. We were talking about something. She goes, "Yeah, I do taxidermy now." She took for Halloween. She took a Squawker's macaw, which is a robotic parrot you could buy that was not cheap. They were $100 and something, but it was programmable. You could have it say different things. You could record a voice for it and program it to. It had a lot of movement, but she took an actual macaw's. I wouldn't even say skin. I think the feathers are preserved on. I don't know if it's on the skin or not, but the whole macaw that she got from wherever you buy dead macaws. Yeah, just macaws. And put it on that thing, and it looks amazing. And they used it in the the Magic Castle. We could talk about that. They go all out. I got to go this year. I mean, I've been to the castle a number of times. There's so many friends who are members, but I'd never been to their Halloween decorated. And then this year they went bananas. A young man by the name of Damien, I don't know his last name, but I have friends who know him, went all out.
All for you, Damien.
Went all out and decorated like it was a pirate nautical theme. And there was a 25 foot ship mounted on the roof in front of the castle with 6 cannons with the cannon, I don't know, you call them the doors that go up, and the doors would fly up and the cannons would fire like they do.
Gun doors.
Yeah. But they had like a light and a puff of smoke, very much like what you do at the Pirates of the Caribbean. And he had a couple or 3 figures that would pop up, and they had some dialogue and music and sound effects. And then inside they had entire rooms done up like you're in a ship, in an old wooden ship with TV screen window. What was that?
I was trying to make the sound effect from Pirates of the Caribbean. I couldn't do it.
I thought you were having some sort of seizure.
Well, that too.
You sound like a hydraulic, word. Anyway,
well, that's what Pirates of the Caribbean sounds like.
Yeah, exactly. So that was cool. I mean, if anyone ever gets a chance to go to the castle, it's great. But during Halloween, they go all out.
It's extra fun.
It's just the decor is amazing, and they put it up over like 2 weeks for just, I think it's there for 10 days. Because I have friends. My friend Lacey Barker was on the Boo crew, they call it, and the people who
Boo crew.
It's all volunteer work, and they just go in and help decorate, and it was amazing. That's very fun on Halloween. But I'm curious what other cities, besides haunts, or like where you pay $20, whatever, to go through. Do they have shops like Halloween Town? Because I just don't know. It's all very. I assumed it's very specific to LA.
Well, I mean, it's actually very specific to that one little section of Burbank.
Well, yeah, I don't think San Francisco would be the other city I think that might have it, or Portland, but not that I'm aware of. I know Portland has a great costume shop, like a big supermarket-sized novelty costume shop with props and all that. There's one in Denver. When I went and visited my friend in Denver, we went to it, and amazing, like just tons of stuff crammed into something the size of a small supermarket or a large liquor store.
Right.
Yeah. So I love those places, and I wish they were around when I was a kid because I wouldn't have had any money left. Well, I didn't anyway.
Yeah, I agree. There was nothing like that when I was growing up.
There was nothing like all the stuff we were into now. I mean, I think that's why it exists, because people like us grew up and said, I'm going to.
I think you're absolutely right about that. Yeah.
But I wonder if it's just our generation, like, in 30 years, or will they fade away because, kids are all into video games, not into dressing up for Halloween? I have no idea.
Yeah.
Well, Halloween costumes will probably stick around. I don't see that going anywhere unless the economy goes to hell and you're just.
How much farther can it go? Well, probably a little bit. Yeah.
Don't tempt the fates, my friend. Yeah. Yes, we don't discuss politics on the show. Thank God. Jesus, I will say, if I get another email, if I had a penny for every email or text,
oh my God. Yeah, I've gotten so many emails and so many texts.
And I'm not on any list that I gave once to a party of like 20 years ago, and it's just like they will not. I keep going block number, and the same politicians. People running for Congress and Senate in states I've never even visited are asking me for money, and I'm like, yeah, okay, why? It won't affect.
They want your money. They just want money.
Well, when you hear that Kamala raised $1 billion and they're asking for money, I'm like, how you made $1 billion from like schmucks like us, like regular Joes? They said it was like 65%, new donors, or not low income donors.
65% nude donors.
Nude donors. They said, I'm taking my clothes off for Kamala Harris. Anyway, losing $1 billion. Why are you
the first time? What?
It turns out politicians are greedy.
What?
I know.
I never.
I thought they were in it for the people. Anyway.
The people.
So yeah.
People who need people.
I'm just gonna be glad when the election's over. When you are all hearing this, hopefully, thank God it's over.
Yeah. Well, hopefully they'll have finished counting by then.
Counting, yeah, exactly. We can get back to our regularly programmed misery.
No, so we can get on with Christmas.
I want to. I really want to feel a Christmas.
When do you start watching Christmas movies?
We're on Thanksgiving weekend. I'll watch Rudolph or Elf or something.
Right.
I put the music. I like Christmas music because I have like
I love Christmas music. I love old Christmas music.
Yeah, that's
stuff. I like
Nat Cole and all that
stuff from the 60s and 70s.
Oh, I like it from like the 40s.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
But
I'm dreaming of a white Christmas.
You sound just like what's his face?
Dingle. Dingle.
Bingle. I like the Dean Martin ones. There's a little more drunk. I want to enjoy Christmas.
It's the best time of the year.
He's just a little more boozy. Although,
well, yeah.
But the Vince Guaraldi Christmas album to me is the ultimate. Christmas.
Oh yes, a Charlie Brown Christmas.
Christmas. Yeah, that's just such great. I love that. I'll put that on infinite rotation and just.
Can't go that high.
No, thank God. If you did, I'd be worried about you. I'd say go see your rearologist.
Your rearologist?
Rearologist. It's like an Archie Bunkerism. Hey, why
did you go see a rearologist?
After you see the groin. I remember he was talking about she had some, she's going through menopause. Saying, you gotta go to the gynecologist.
Would you stifle it?
You stifle it and eat it. Yes. So the holidays are upon us. What's your? Didn't we already ask? Didn't we already go over what our favorite holiday movies were?
I don't think we actually did.
Maybe I just did it with friends on a weeknight thing. Friends. Yeah, friends. Well, Rudolph is probably one of my top 3.
Yeah, that's not really a movie though. That's a TV special.
Yeah, well, TV things you can watch.
I'll take things you can watch for 500, please, Alex.
Christmas things you can watch. I like the original Miracle on 34th Street.
Yes.
Edmund Gwynn.
Edmund Gwynn.
I liked Elf.
From them.
Yes, from them. Elf, I think, is my
I love Elf.
Yeah,
Elf is the newest movie
Yeah.
that I have on my Christmas list.
Yeah, exactly. Same here.
That one scene where he's in the middle of the department store and the demonstrator has the fruit cologne, and he says, "Oh, fruit spray," and he grabs it and sprays it in his mouth. I laugh hysterically every time. It is so freaking funny.
I like it. The fake Santa is like, "You sit on a throne of lies."
Santa, I know him.
Yeah, that had to be an ad lib because I don't think any screenwriter would be that.
No,
that had to be him just going, "I am this character. What would my reaction be?"
And Zooey Deschanel is absolutely luminous.
She's gorgeous and adorable and believable. You never think, and he's believable as a giant human, raised by elves.
Yes.
Bob Newhart's great.
Oh, the great Bob Newhart. Yeah.
Buddy. And then Ed Asner. Ed Asner, Santa Claus.
The only man to have played Santa Claus and Jabba the Hutt.
What?
He played Jabba the Hutt on the NPR version of Return of the Jedi.
Did he do like...
He did all of the Huttese words.
Wow.
They wrote them out for him, and he did them all, and it was pretty amazing.
Han Mabuki.
Well, no, that hadn't been done yet. Han Mabuki was from the special editions.
That's right.
Thank God.
I got to work with him. I think I shot the last thing he ever did was I filmed him for Muppet Haunted Mansion.
So you're saying you killed him?
Well, that movie did. Not me personally. Well, and of course, in Disney's great wisdom, they cut his line. So I think he just goes like this. He used to say, he had a couple lines. I mean, whatever. I don't need to cover that territory again. Let's see. Did you watch, were you a fan of Agatha all along the MCU?
No.
I liked her. I like Catherine Hahn.
I can't stand Catherine Hahn. That's the main reason.
Yeah, I really like her. I think she's great in comedies. I think she's perfect for this, perfect casting. And the middle episodes was getting really, to coin a phrase, episodic, where it was like, we've got to go. And I get it. Like, they were all these challenges, but it was like a video game. This week's challenge is this. And there's a song.
Yeah, it's like going to get transparent aluminum.
No, that was more entertaining. Transparent aluminum. That's the ticket, laddie. It took me years to figure out the dynamics of this matrix. Was it be rich beyond?
Rich beyond the dreams of avarice.
Yes.
How do we know he didn't invent the thing?
Not now, Madeline. Anyway, we're not nerds. Speaking of which, Rick Baker's wife was the makeup artist or a makeup artist on Star Trek 4.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And we were talking, and she was doing my hair for the mohawk or my makeup, whatever. And I said, I used to do creature stuff. And she goes, really? My boyfriend does creature stuff. I'm like, oh, what's his name? Well, my boyfriend Rick does, and I'm like, oh, is it Rick Baker?
Oh, Rick Lazzarini?
Yeah. Rick Baker. I'm like, Rick Baker. I know Rick.
No.
And she was dressed up as a mutant, an underworld mutant for Halloween.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. Where were we? Oh, we ramble.
Was she dressed as Victor Buono?
Well, thank God. But that was like the last movie role I remember him in. He and Sven Darden were these guys who...
Severn
Darden.
Yes.
Severn Darden. But they always played like, these kind of big...
Strange big guys.
Like, I'm waiting. I mean, there's no Leo McKerns anymore.
There's no Leo McKerns. There's no
large character.
Michael Lonsdale.
Yep. Oh, Brian Blessed is still around, but
Brian Blessed is still alive.
Gordon's alive.
He loves that. Every time I see him interviewed, he dives into that with such gusto still.
Yeah. He
loves the parts that he's played.
He has that picket fence teeth that he's got a grill that shines through the beard. No, that kind of character actor, even Sebastian Cabot, like,
yeah.
So I'm ready to.
Sebastian Cabot, who also played Santa Claus in another version of Miracle on 34th Street.
Yes, the TV. Was it the TV one?
It was a TV movie.
One of the TV movies.
Yeah.
I like the original Santa Claus, even though I find Tim Allen annoying. I liked the movie. I thought it was sweet.
You mean the Santa Claus?
The Santa Claus, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it's a sweet movie.
They kind of milked it to death. Wait, are there
my brother loves Jingle All the Way, and I can't stand it.
Yeah, it's a money grab. I'm trying to there's another Christmas movie from that I grew up with. Again, Rudolph was number one, but it wasn't Year Without a Santa Claus or any of that. Oh, Halloween movies was, of course, the only Halloween animated movie ever made. Mad Monster Party. I loved that. That was I can sing all the songs I know.
Yeah, The Nightmare Before Christmas doesn't exist for you.
No. It's fine, but I don't love it the way I love Mad Monster Party. And it probably has to do with the fact I was, 8 when it came out. But
of course, all those Mad Monster Party characters were designed by Jack Davis.
Jack Davis.
From Mad Magazine.
Yes.
And
I was the original Batman. I do all the voices. I know most of the lines. Oh, golly, Francesca, Uncle Boris.
I guess this isn't lamb then.
Yeah. What did she say? She said creep. Anyway, I love that movie. And a lot of those are Paul Frees, too.
Yes. Yeah. Too many of them.
He does Dracula. And he's doing Sidney Greenstreet as the Invisible Man. Yes.
Right. Yes.
Yes. Okay, Christmas movies. Back to our original one.
Well, of course, it's not really a Christmas movie, but everyone watches it at Christmas. But It's a Wonderful Life is
I think
in
that
there.
is a New Year's Christmas movie.
Yeah, but there are no.
I love that movie. I do love that movie.
I do too. I
never saw it until I was I think I was living, in my early 20s, late teens when I was living.
Really?
My family didn't watch it. Neither my parents were. I don't think they had. I just think it wasn't on their radar. It was not considered at all over the holidays. We didn't. My brother and I would watch Rudolph because that was played, but we didn't really have Christmas movie traditions or anything. Well, there wasn't VHS or anything, so
right.
There's
only one version of A Christmas Carol that I will watch.
The Alistair.
No.
No. Okay.
Alistair Sim.
Alistair Sims. Oh, really? I like that one.
No, I won't watch that. My favorite is from 1970. It's the Albert Finney Scrooge, the musical.
Yeah.
Which I absolutely love. I saw it in the movie theater when I was a kid.
Okay. Well, that would work.
Several times, and I absolutely love it. And
I don't think I've ever sat through it. I see it when it's on. I'm kind of flipping around channels and never watched it. I like the Muppet version. That was fun. Muppet Christmas Carol.
Because you had something to do.
The Alistair Sim version I really liked. I watched it as a kid, and it's not a musical, but
it's in black and white. It's for babies.
People whose eyes are immature can't handle colors. I'm trying. There's got to be at least one more Christmas movie tradition. We've talked about albums and music, but there's
Life of Brian.
Oh. No, White Christmas.
Yeah, White Christmas is a good one.
White Christmas. That's fun, and it's all over the place, but it's that and Holiday Inn are kind of almost the same movie.
They are the same movie.
The same movie, yeah.
Yeah, one has a little more snow in it.
Yeah, was Holiday Inn? Which one came first? White Christmas?
I think Holiday Inn came first, but don't.
Which one has sisters? Isn't that?
Which one has the indoor swimming pool? That's Holiday Inn.
What?
You remember in the 70s, the Holiday Inns used to have an indoor swimming pool.
Oh, I thought you were going back to It's a Wonderful Life.
No. But that actually is real. That was a real thing.
I know. A friend of mine's mom, who I grew up with, they were like church friends of my parents, dear friends. She was one of the dancers that falls in the pool.
Oh, that's great.
I've watched it now that they've re-released it and
Yeah.
it, and you can kind of tell who she is.
Oh,
And
that's
she was like 17 or something when they shot it, and they were looking for high school age, people to do this, and she was a swimmer, and so she like.
Well, of course, the big trivia question from that scene is who's the kid who has the key, and it's Carl Switzer, who was Alfalfa.
Yeah, well, you can tell he looks. He
looks like him. Yeah,
looks like Alfalfa. Yeah,
who would later die in a bar fight.
Yes, died ignominiously and tragically
or ignominiously. Yeah,
ignominiously at like 19,
something like that. Yeah,
wasn't he buried in
a shallow grave?
No, but
next to Mozart.
They didn't know who he was when he was originally buried, and they figured it out. And
it's a very sad story. A lot of the
way to bring us down. We're talking about Christmas.
Thanks.
We're talking about Carl Switzer and his tragic death. Okay, I'm running out of Christmas movies. That's funny. I think, oh God, there's got to be 6 or 7, but
there's a bunch more, and I'm trying to remember them.
For those of us listening to the podcast,
some people love this movie. I'm not one of them, but Christmas Vacation.
I mean, I enjoy it, but
it's fine. It's nowhere near as good as the original Vacation.
Oh, right. Yes. I don't know. I think it's kind of.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. But yeah, I think for it has to be the original Miracle with Edmund Gwynn. And,
that is absolutely my favorite Christmas movie of all time.
It's
perfect.
It's got that charm, and it doesn't. It doesn't. It's not ham-fisted. They did things. I mean, again, that's why a lot of.
And it has William Frawley.
Yeah, Will Frawley, and it's the subtlety of movies back then, due to budget or whatever, or just people were used to radio plays and things moving a little slower. It's why a lot of movies are like, oh my God, this is a slog, even up into the 70s. But something like that in a Christmas movie, it's just charm. It charms you, much like It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah.
Like I didn't realize until I did a reading, a radio, like a radio play kind of thing of It's a Wonderful Life. Clarence is only in it at the beginning and the last 20 minutes.
Yeah, he's hardly in it.
Yeah, he's hardly in it. You think, oh, I mean, your mind is like, oh, he's through it the whole time. No, he's watching. He's
watching the movie with us.
Yeah, and then at the end, he's like, oh, young man. Yeah. All right. What about Thanksgiving movies?
There are some.
I directed one.
Oh, that's right. With Turkey Hollow with all the puppets.
With Mary Steenburgen.
With the mucking puppets.
No, there were no Muppets in it. There were creatures in it.
They were creatures. They were still Muppets.
No, they weren't. They're not.
They were like Muppets. They're like Muppets.
No, then you said this Dark Crystal filled with Muppets?
Yes. No, absolutely it is.
You're as wrong as rain.
Muppet creatures.
No, they're creatures. They're not Muppet creatures. They're Jim Henson creatures. They're not Muppets. Muppets
You know what another Thanksgiving movie is? The Accidental Tourist.
Oh, really? I've seen it, but I don't recall it as a Thanksgiving movie.
Yeah, with Gina Davis. They have there's a famous scene that takes place at Thanksgiving that's very nice.
Oh.
Bill Pullman and Gina Davis.
What happened to Bill Pullman? He was all over the place. And then after Independence Day, he did a couple smaller films and then kind of faded away.
Yeah. Well, it's because Harrison Ford put out a contract on him and he didn't risk showing his face in public anymore.
Stop it.
It's true.
But Greg Kinnear, another guy, kind of like a Bill Pullman type, kind of a good-looking, not model, good-looking, but good-looking guy next door. Did a few movies and great in all of them, and then I don't know. He's
in the remake of Sabrina,
right?
Also with Harrison Ford.
Right.
Not very good.
Yeah. Well, no, he was good. I like Greg Kinnear. I thought he was likable.
Yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man.
Way to bring it back. Wait, has it been an hour? Is that what you're doing? It's been an hour.
Just about.
Well, geez, we've covered all the holidays. Well, the big ones, the big three, Halloween things.
What do you think of Rudolph's Shiny New Year?
Yeah, it's a money grab.
Because isn't that actually no? It's the which is the one that actually has Heat Miser and
Year Without a Santa Claus.
that's Year Without a Santa Claus.
Yeah,
right?
that I liked. That was silly,
Yeah.
but those two song numbers are so memorable, like earworms. Yeah, dun, dun, yeah. Who did the voices? Because they were the guy who did Heat Miser is a known voice guy, but the guy who did Cold Miser, I don't. It wasn't. You know, what's his name?
Well, the Winter Warlock was what's his name? Hans Conried.
Hans Conried, yes.
Yes.
But it wasn't any of there weren't big names for the
No.
for the other two. Yeah. Anyway, they were great. That was fun. Does it start out with like Glenn Campbell as the voice of young Kris Kringle or something? Or is that
no? It's Mickey Rooney.
No, he's Santa Claus. Oh, you're right.
It's Mickey Rooney.
Eat, Papa, eat. No one wants a skinny Santa. You're right.
Yeah.
And it's like May Castell is Mrs. Claus or something.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, that was great. I did enjoy that. It's not my top, but it is fun. Mainly because of Heat Miser and Snow Miser. You know, they did a live action remake. It was terrible. I was up to direct it, and I said, "Well, I mean," and they go, "No, they're not." Like Heat Miser is going to be like, a Coal Baron, and Cold Miser is going to be like they were. It was done. I don't know. It was terrible. It was just a bad idea. Like if we're not going to make it,
take this bad idea and do bad things about it.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you're going to make it with a fantasy with great makeups and CG or something, that'd have been fun. But no, they tried to make it like real.
Yeah.
It's like
I mean, a project that I worked on. In addition to Rick Baker, was the big multi-million-dollar movie version of The Grinch.
Oh, right.
And
I enjoyed it. It's not a favorite,
but not good.
Yeah.
The parts that are mimicking the cartoon are pretty good.
Actually, The Grinch, there's a great Christmas special that I love.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That is delightful.
And you can't do it without Boris Karloff. It's
Charlie Brown Christmas, duh.
Yeah.
The music is what makes it great. It's just kind of a slow story, but I still find it charming.
I actually like A Charlie Brown Thanksgiving better.
Oh, really? I've seen it, but I don't recall any. I remember The Great Pumpkin and Charlie Brown Christmas, but I don't remember Thanksgiving.
It's The Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown, you idiot. That's the full name of it.
You jackass. You jagar. I love Linus's voice. He kind of Joel Hodgson is a friend of mine. Did I drop a name there?
Yeah.
But he kind of talks like Linus if grown up.
Yeah.
And unto them
he talks like Linus with a clear nose.
Yeah. Unto them a child was born. Let's talk about that one day. Actually, this is a Christmas tie-in. The one Mystery Science Theater that I riffed on with the gang for 2 weeks was The Christmas Dragon, which is a terrible movie. Which surprising, but it was made.
Oh, I'm sorry, A Christmas Story.
Yes, of course, that was it. That's the other.
God,
yeah. How do we forget that?
It's so good.
That is my top 4 now are eminently watchable. You can watch them over and over again. You never get bored. Christmas Story is like just great. And
you know again, what made me think of
that?
I know
I'm an iconoclast standing alone in that.
Yeah. I mean, you said Christmas Dragon, and I immediately thought of the Chinese restaurant.
Oh, right.
At the end.
Yeah.
It's smiling at me.
She was great in that too.
Oh yeah.
Oh, what's her name? She was in Close Encounters.
Close Encounters, yes.
And
Melinda Dillon.
Yeah. She was great in that. And
she's great.
Darren McGavin steals, he's so great in it.
Yeah.
Fragile. Yeah.
They're all Italian.
Yeah. This is a major award.
The funny thing about that movie is that when my dad was alive, we would watch that together. And he said it represented the best portrayal of how it was when he was a kid, but it was also how it was like when I was a kid.
Yeah.
That school that is in there, that I guess is in Canada.
Oh, really? Okay.
Looks exactly like my grade school. It is exactly like my grade school.
Yeah, and you had winters, and
Oh, we had winters, and we didn't stick our tongue to a pole or anything.
You were smart enough to not do that. We had the Farkas kids in our neighborhood.
Yeah,
they were the Careys, and they lived in a rundown house with dogs running and they had long hair. That was kind of the 70s version. They were long haired, kind of unkempt, three brothers, and they were, we called them the hairy, scary Careys, and
nice.
they were of lower means. Not that had anything to do with them, but they were kind of feral.
Right.
Yeah. And so that I identified with almost more than anything else in that movie, except having a little brother and wanting a BB gun and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But the setting was so foreign to an LA kid. We had palm trees and beaches, so it did not resonate. But yes, that is one of the quintessential best Christmas movies.
And just in case you miss it this year, don't worry, it'll be on next.
Yes. Oh, also, people love, besides Muppet Christmas Carol, John Denver's Muppet Christmas is a huge.
Yeah, the Muppet Family Christmas.
Well, there's Muppets Family and John Denver's Christmas with the Muppets.
Oh, right, Christmas with the Muppets. Yeah.
Yeah, there
Not
was
to be confused with Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas,
which is charming, but I don't know where you can even find it. I'm sure you can rent it now.
When I hear Jug Band, I think of something completely different.
Yes, jugs are banned on YouTube. The amount of Muppet Christmas specials. I mean, I did 2 of them, and added to it. God, I mean, there's got to be like 10 almost. Going backwards, Christmas Carol, Muppets Letters to Santa, Very Merry Muppet Christmas. Sorry, well, it'd be Letters to Santa, Very Merry Muppet Christmas, Christmas Carol. That's 3. Muppet Family Christmas, 4. John Denver's Christmas with the Muppets, 5. Why do I think there's another?
Emmett Otter.
Yes, but yes, that's Christmas. But specifically the Muppets, the Great Santa Switch with Art Carney.
Oh,
yes, I saw that. It only aired once. It was hosted, so that was the one that got me super interested in the Muppets outside of Sesame Street. It was called The Great Santa Switch. It was Art Carney playing Santa and this evil.
For the second time. Do you know the first time he played Santa? Night of the Meek, Twilight Zone.
Oh, wow, you're right. Anyway, he played like a Grinch-style character, and Gonzo was created for that special.
Wow.
And he lived like in a cave, and it was done, Ed Sullivan was like, here's one for the kiddies.
Now, here's the Muppets and their Christmas pageant.
The Great Santa Switch. And so it was done in like I think somewhere between 68 and 72.
Wow.
Dave Goelz puppeteered and built Gonzo, where he came from. He was a little creature that lived in a garbage can or something. I think you can find it now. But at least 6 Muppet Christmas specials. Only one Halloween one, which was more of a Disney commercial. I tried to get, as we discussed. I still think you could do 3 Muppet. You could have 2 more Muppet Halloween specials.
Well, doesn't your Haunted Mansion qualify as well?
That's what I'm saying. That's the only Halloween special.
Oh, okay.
I tried for years, because to me the Muppets originally were monsters, funny monsters, but monsters. I wanted to do, I don't know, this is an idea, whatever. I'm kind of washing my hands of working with the Muppets, at least the way Disney treats them and me. But the Muppet Monsters, there was a group that were too scary for children's television.
Right.
More like Uncle Deadling, kind of creepier and weird. And they finally are want representation and, DEI, like, hey, let's include us. So they basically kind of threatened Kermit into letting them do a special. And of course, it's a Halloween special. And it's weird and goofy. And Gonzo thinks it's great. And Uncle Deadly sort of becomes their spokesperson. And there's a lot of, like with the Muppets, a lot of layers, like we need representation. Well, he's obviously flamboyant.
Nice.
But and there's like Big Mean Carl. There's a few of them on Sweetums. but we were creating, like, Jim Lewis and I worked on this for about 6 months, and it was going to be a TV special. Yeah.
I'm going to announce right now I'm doing a new Peanuts special. It's called The Mediocre Pumpkin Charlie Brown. It's not great. Come on.
The silence was deafening. It's a media. Really? That you spent time on that? Like, that wasn't. I mean, it was a riff. Okay.
No, that was a riff. And on that note,
yeah, we can tell it's late.
Thanks everybody for joining us on our
always a pleasure.
Our hour.
See if I can get Glenn to be our guest next week or soon.
That'd be great.
Great guy. I mean, Jim Lewis. I got so many people. I just got to go. All right.
Yeah.
Do our show.
And did you enjoy that clip that I sent you to share on your?
Oh, you mean the one that I said we should do?
Yeah, the one that you said we should do, and then you absolutely did nothing with it.
We've done 50 episodes. I think that's the.
This is number 33.
I know.
I don't think you know. Not one damn bit.
I know things. I'm not stupid like people say.
I'm not stupid like everybody says. I was stepped over. You think Gonzo would play that role in the
Fredo?
Yeah.
Yeah. We did a parody of The Godfather with Statler and Waldorf going to Kermit. We stuffed Kermit's mouth literally like with cotton balls. We talk like this. And they went to him, or Fozzie, sorry. Fozzie goes to him and he's like, what did he call him? Don Froglione or something. And he said, these two men, they come to my act and they insult me and they kill my jokes. And, would you take care of them? Don Berzini, or what do we call Fozzie
Berzini?
Yeah, it was Don Berzini. I will make sure these men are taken care of. Thank you. Oh, Frogfather. Thank you, Frogfather. Thank you. And the next bit was it was Statler and Waldorf eating in an Italian restaurant, and suddenly you see the shadow across the wall, and they look up and go, and goes into slow-mo, and they both get big cream pies in the face. Yeah, it was a trailer for The Frogfather. See, I miss that. We used to do shit like that. I just don't do it anymore.
Well, maybe someday. Who knows?
I literally have thought about just creating my own puppet troupe of creatures.
Puppet troops.
F Troop with puppets.
I did a poster for Martin Scorsese's F Troop.
Oh my gosh. Who was in it?
Tom Hanks.
Okay.
Tom Hanks as Captain Parmenter.
Right.
Who did I have as
Agarn? Who was Agarn? Agarn.
I don't remember. I have to look that up because
Hanks is good for Parmenter. Agarn would have to be like Jim Carrey, or who else would be like? I mean, Jack Black. I'm trying to think of somebody who plays. Jim Carrey was kind of the right vibe because Larry Storch was amazing.
Okay, here we go. I'm gonna put it up because it's.
I'd love to see it. Do you know? I didn't know that Larry Storch did the voice of
Mr. Whoopi.
Mr. Whoopi, Phineas J. Whoopi.
Yeah. That was amazing when I learned that.
Don and Donna. Do we discuss this? Don Adams was doing an impression of
the Thin Man.
Yeah. William Powell.
Yes.
And when you listen to William Powell, you understand that, he is doing, like, he's just made him a little more nasal.
Yeah. Here's my F Troop poster.
Dick Powell, that was it. Oh, my God. Oh, that's hilarious. I can't read the, hold on.
It's the end of the Civil War is near, and Wilton Parmenter's life is about to get all effed up. A Martin Scorsese film, Tom Hanks stars in F Troop with Christina Applegate as Wrangler Jane, Chris Christopherson as
I forget his name. Yeah. What's his name? It was Larry Storch and Forrest Tucker.
Forrest Tucker. Yeah, I'm trying to remember his.
That's a good call. Also, Tom Ely Jones would be a good Forrest Tucker.
Yes.
character?
I had Rob Schneider as Larry Storch.
Yeah. He's okay.
Yeah. Chris Kattan was also in it, and Jimmy Smits as Chief Wild Eagle.
Oh, nice. I was gonna say, the guy who's in wait. Yeah, he's in he was in both shows. He was in Reservation Dogs, and also in the Alan Tudyk series, the Alien one. What's it called?
I don't remember.
Illegal Alien or whatever, where Alan Tudyk's an alien. But he had Graham.
Yeah.
Yeah, he would be also great.
Yes.
Jimmy Smits is a little too good looking.
Well, yeah, but that's fine. This is a movie.
Yeah, that's true. You know what?
But the capper is, and Mel Gibson as Ulysses S. Grant.
Oh, nice, Mel. What's scary is that is IP that I bet somebody's tried to turn into a thing because they don't want any.
They tried and failed. They tried and died.
I don't like that idea. My friend doesn't like it either.
You just watch yourself.
Pitching ideas at the.
We have development deals at all 12 studios.
Come. This
little one isn't worth the effort.
Let me buy you an option. Let me buy an option.
All right, join us next week for more fun and frivolity, and
yes.
Maybe some video sharing next week. Who knows?
Ooh. We're getting fancy.
Thanks for joining us.
Blurring my hat and turning it into some weird device. Yes, thank you, everybody. Enjoy your lives.
Yes.
For that is where you will spend the
rest of your time?
Lives. Rest of your time. There it is.
See you next time.
Written in wood. Now.
The Weirded Beardos are Kirk Thatcher and Daren Doctorman. Email them at theweirdedbeardos@gmail.com.